Hello, GIN committee leaders. I am making this video to explain the process of constructing your committee action plan as well as using the committee project management template, which will help you understand and execute all the tasks that have been identified by your committee. The first step in crafting your committee action plan is to obtain information to be able to craft your goals. To do that, within your committee folder, you will find a committee guide which contains information on roles and responsibilities as well as frequently asked questions and other information on everything that your committee has to accomplish. With the information that's within these guides, you can begin crafting goals and truly understanding everything that the committee is responsible for. With this information, you can begin crafting goals which can be incorporated into your committee action plan. The committee action plan is this form, which contains several questions regarding not just your committee's responsibilities, but also the community with which you are engaging. In this action plan, you must fill in everything that your committee is doing and answer all these questions thoroughly to make sure that you understand and take everything into consideration. These answers should be detailed, but they don't have to be complete sentences, as this is a method of brainstorming and putting out ideas to really understand your committee. Once you've completed your action plan, you can transfer the goals that were outlined in here to the project management plan, which I will explain in the next section of this video. One quick thing to remember before that, though, is that when constructing your action plan, you should not answer any questions directly into this Google form, but you should copy all of the questions and paste them into a Google Doc, where you can answer them more clearly and keep them all stored in your committee folder. So the objective of the GIN committee agenda or project management template is to outline all the goals for your committee and make sure that you've got a detailed plan to accomplishing each of these, and also making sure that you can keep track of all of them and update it based on the information that you get on these goals as you complete them. So this first page here is going to have general information about the committee. Here is where you're going to put the name of the committee. Here you're going to put the name of whoever is the committee leader and whoever is going to be facilitating the meetings of the committee. Here is the committee advisor. This is a member of the faculty and staff of the school who is supervising and mentoring the committee leader in this process. And down here are all the people that are going to be involved in the committee meetings. This document here, it's called an agenda because a copy of this is going to be made for each committee meeting that you have. I'm going to explain here how to create it in the first place and how to build out these goals, but then as you accomplish them and as you have different meetings, you're going to be making copies of this document, of that original one that you created, and updating your goals with information on new challenges and successes in terms of accomplishing them. So here, for every meeting, you would put who is taking notes, and here, every person that's involved. In terms of actually building out your project management plan, what you're going to do is you're going to follow these instructions that are here, and I'm going to explain these a little more further down, but you're going to follow these to build out goal by goal everything that you need to accomplish with your committee. So down here, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be establishing overarching goals. Now, these are goals that are more related to the GIN ethos, the GIN mission and vision, as well as the mission and vision of your committee that you identified while completing the committee action plan. And here you're going to put very broad goals, but that you still think are important and that you need to make sure happen so that your committee can be successful. One example here is that your work is sustainable, or that your participants take away a message and skill that builds leadership, sustainability, global citizenship, and local culture. All of these are important elements of GIN. And what you're going to do with this is you're going to transform it into essential questions. What do you ask yourself when you need to complete a goal like this, an overarching goal? Once that's completed, you're going to list all your committee goals based on priority. These committee goals are going to come from the committee guides and other resources that JIN has provided regarding the responsibilities of each committee. You're going to be reviewing those guides and the conference checklist to see what are all the different elements of the committee that the leader needs to take into consideration to make sure that it's a success during the conference. Here you're going to outline all the different goals that you have based on priority. So your first goal, for example, would be to complete the action plan, because that's the first part for you to really get started with managing your committee. Secondly, you need to build a team. You need to have people that are going to be supporting you and that are going to be giving you as much help as possible in the responsibilities of the committee, which can become pretty large for certain committees later on. Then you're going to go into the more specific goals regarding what your committee really needs to do to prepare for the conference. You're going to build out these goals here, and then you're going to work backwards in creating a deadline and timetable. So your very last goal, the very culmination of the work of your committee, when does it have to be completed? Is it the day of the conference? Is it the day before the conference? You need to ask yourself that and then work backwards. If the very last thing needs to be completed a week before the conference, then when does the second to last thing need to be completed? And so on. And you'll work backwards to ensure that you have reasonable deadlines. If you don't have specific dates, these deadlines can just be parameters. It needs to be a week before the conference, 2 weeks, a month, but you need to at least have some idea of when you want to complete these and the order that you want to complete these, and that's why we're putting them like this. Once you've got that done, you're going to dig in more specifically into each goal to really understand what are all the steps that you need to take to complete it, and we're going to do so through this table here. What you're going to do with a table like this is you're going to make a copy of all of this for every single goal that you outlined here. So if you had 7 goals, you're going to have 7 of these tables here. What you're going to do at the top is put the name of the goal. As it says here, Goal 1, Complete Action Plan. Then what you're going to do is you're going to break this goal into smaller action steps. And they fall into 3 categories: preparation, approach, and implementation. Preparation steps are everything that you need to do before you can actually put your goal into action. So what are the materials that you need to prepare? What is everything that you need to accomplish before you can actually do anything? This can be, as it says here, materials, time, people power, etc. So just everything that you need to do beforehand. After that, you're going to put in your approach steps. These relate mostly to stakeholders of your committee and people that are going to be affected by anything that this goal is trying to accomplish. So who do you need to approach to make sure that you can actually complete this goal? If your goal is, for example, to secure a deal for inexpensive meals for the conference, you need to approach a food producing firm. You also need to approach the cafeteria at the school to see if they can handle all the food. And you need to approach the administration to make sure that they allow it. So you're going to put that kind of information in here and how and when you're going to approach them. So break this down into specific steps. Finally, implementation are all the action steps that you need to do. So this is everything you need to concretely do to make sure that your goal is a success. So after you've prepared everything, you've spoken to everyone, what needs to be accomplished on site and physically by the committee leader and by the committee team to actually make sure that you complete this goal. After breaking this down into steps, you're going to put in this column the who and contacts. So everyone that you need to speak to, or everyone that is going to be held responsible for each of these steps, is going to go in this column, including their contact. That should be an email, and it should be fine. Once you've got that information in here, you're going to do the same that you did with the goals and estimate the deadlines and timetables. Again, it's good to work backwards because you can really understand what is the last thing that you need to accomplish and by when. And once you've got that, you can just understand, okay, if that needs to be done by a certain day, how much time in advance do I need to complete the other steps as well to make sure that I've got my final product by that deadline. One last thing about this table, in this last part here, you're going to link any documents, resources, materials that you have for your committee and that the committee might need in terms of management or in terms of obtaining information later on for this specific goal. Again, you're going to make a copy of this table for every single goal and fill it in with information that's relevant to the goal with all those steps like I just explained. This is basically the core of your project management plan, and it's the thing that you're going to be updating every meeting and every time that you get more information on these goals. What you're going to be doing also every meeting is in these boxes here, you're going to be sharing your successes, your challenges, and your needs. Everything that went well, all the goals that you accomplished, are going to come here. Everything that needs to be changed, that might not have gone so well, is going to go here, and also suggestions for what do we need to do and why do we think we're struggling with this. And finally here, what needs do we have? So what resources do we need from the school community? Who do we still need to talk to that we've learned after working through these goals? Finally, down here, this is just a system of feedback for really understanding how your committee is working, making sure that everyone is on task, and that everyone is working fine. So this is just a piece that you're going to be doing at the end of every meeting just to understand if there are any concerns among the team members. But really, the core of the project management piece are these tables here. These elements down here are only going to be incorporated once the goals are actually starting to be put into action, and you're going to have to be discussing them in meetings. So the only thing that the committee leaders need to worry about right now is making sure that this part is complete, these tables are complete with everything that your committee is going to need, including all the preparation, approach, and implementation steps for each objective. If you have any questions about this entire system, how it works, or what are some best practices to make sure that this is a success, feel free to talk to me and Mr. Cesar, as well as email Ashley. She's available to help you. She's worked with pieces like this, and so have I. So if you have any other questions, feel free to contact us and obtain more information. Thank you, and good work.